Hi everyone, I am Jenna. You're crooked again. Here we go. Nope. There. Okay. Can't have you crooked. So we are making a bunny head tonight. I am Jenna. This is Apple Delight Creations. Welcome. Let me know you're here. Say hi. We normally go live at 7 p.m. But on Wednesdays, because of church, we go 4:30. So we're making a bunny head. And we're using a child's play ball as our head. This is 20 inches in circumference. So somebody told me that this won't hold up. I have something similar that I've made. I've used a play ball as a head 15 years, a little longer, and it's still perfect. So when I make things for myself, I keep them forever. But this is a bunny head that I made, I don't know how many years ago, when I had a craft shop. And so we're going to replicate it because I found the picture and I thought, oh, let's do that. So we're using, instead of a styrofoam ball that I used before, we're using a play ball. So I picked this up at Dollar Tree and it's 20 inches. So we're also using the balloon sizing tool. We're using 2 of the circles that come from it. If you follow me at all, you know I use this all the time in sewing and crafting. You get this at Dollar Tree back where they sell the balloons that you blow up yourself. And it's called Balloon Size Measurement Tool. You get 9 circles. So the dimensions that they give you, and they're all printed on each circle, is for the interior circle. So this is 3 inch, but this is 5 inch. So you get 9 of these. They're like that cutting matte material, but you actually get 18. And I use these constantly. If you followed me, you've seen me use these 100 times. So we're making a top hat for our bunny. So this is the 3 inch circle, but like I said, it's 5 inches on the outside. So I have a piece of cardboard, 5 inches. This is a piece of cardboard. It's 2 by 7. This one is 19 by 7. And here's another sizing tool. Now I cut a piece. This is the 6 inch. So I cut a piece of cardboard exactly like the pattern. Exactly. Cut the center out. So there. And then I cut another circle exactly. And we left the center in this one. This is all going to make sense as we go along. So I want you to have all the dimensions of everything so that if you want to make this, you can go back, you can save this video, go back and do this. We're making our bunny face and ears out of Warm and Natural. You could use flannel, you can use inside of a sweatshirt. I cut 2 circles, the inside, the 3 inch. These are our cheeks. And this is going to cover our head. So it is 13 by 21. And it's a little bigger than what we need. We're going to have to cut that down. We have 2 pieces of wire that are 13 inches long. And we're going to put them inside the ears so that we can bend the ear. And then I cut 2 long ears. Now there's 4 pieces here because, you know, front and back. They are 16 by 5. So, and then we're going to put these wires inside and then we're going to form our ears. We're going to bend them. So I'm going to give you everything we're doing, everything we're going to use, and then we're going to make these. So I have 2 different kinds of upholstery fabric. That one. And then this one. This is not really going to be seen, but this is what it's supposed to look like, which is, to me, ugly. So I'm using the back side of it. So there's, you know, a tip. If you need a fabric and you don't like one side, flip it over, see if you care for the other one. I really don't care for this either, but this really isn't going to be seen. This is just going to cover a piece of cardboard, and then we're putting Spanish moss on the top of that. So we just needed something. I have burlap, and I have zippers. Now these zippers we're going to use not as zippers. You'll see. I'm not going to tell you what we're using those for. And then this is going to be our top hat. So then I cut for the brim of the hat, the fabric, just a little bit wider than this outside circumference. And then I cut the inside out also. And this is the 6-inch. Then I took some plastic Easter eggs. You know, you get them in a bag. And I put them on skewers, and I covered them with jute. And then this is a butcher twine that I colored. And the way I colored that was I put some water in a container and some gold color acrylic paint, mixed it up, put my twine in it, and then I draped it over the shower head to dry. So that's how I did this. I just kept pushing it down in the water. Now don't squeeze it, because if you squeeze it, it's going to get twisted up. Hi, Tony. It's going to get twisted up, and then you're going to have knots. So I just kept pushing it down in. I loosely put it in the water. And then when I thought it was colored dark enough, I just draped it over the shower head. I have some buttons we're going to use for eyes. I have one for the nose. And I took these Dollar Tree carrots and I dunked them into grunge several times just to keep, because this is just a dyed jute. So I kept pushing them down in the grunge. And then when they got discolored, I clipped them on the side of my dish drainer with a clothespin and just let them hang there to dry. And I have a doily. I'm not sure we're using it. Maybe. So that's everything we're using. And we're going to start with this head. Let me move my coffee out of the way so I don't want to dump that all over everything. So we're starting with the big piece. And it doesn't matter how you do this. I mean, there's no top and bottom to these balls. So I'm just going to turn this over, and we'll put a little bit of glue just to hold this. And I just deflated my ball, didn't I? Okay, so you know you can't do that. So we're going to gather this and we're going to stuff it. I didn't think the glue gun would do that, the hot glue. So I let you see my mistakes, and so you don't do them. So there's always a second way of doing something, right? I can't believe that glue did that. I mean, the other one I did use hot glue on. So I have, luckily, I have threaded needle. So we're just going to gather this top and bottom and make a ball. Huh, that's odd. Now I have used those with the hot glue. Hi, Stephanie. You just missed my ball deflating on did you see it? I teased everybody today with that toy ball. I kept posting a picture of it, and then I just deflated it. I touched no, you missed it. I touched the ball, the tip of the glue gun on it, and it deflated. So we're making a bunny head. So we're just going to do a running stitch all the way around this. So I am one of those creators that will show you what I did wrong. So you don't do it. So the other balls I picked up are much smaller, so they won't work on this. So we're just going to do a gathering stitch on top and bottom. And then we're going to stuff it. So there's always a second way of doing something, right? I'd like to see my expression when that thing deflated. I'll have to go back and rewatch this. So I'm just going to knot this off and pull it kind of tight. Well, you know, best laid plans, right? I think the tip of the gun hit it, because I have used hot glue on those before. So if you try that, don't touch the tip of your gun. Of course, this has been on for quite a while, so that could be the problem too. So we just gathered it. And I'm going to flatten this out because we're going to glue this down on a piece of this cardboard. And we're going to stuff this. So this is actually supposed to be made with a styrofoam ball, but a styrofoam ball the size that we're using is like $20. And no, I'm not paying $20 for a styrofoam ball. When I had my store, it closed in 2000. I could get styrofoam balls for a couple bucks. And now they're just, it's ridiculous what they want for them. So we're going to do a running stitch around the top of this also. So all this is an in and out stitch. So if you don't sew, you can do this. So once we get this going, we might put some more stuffing in this because I want this pretty firm. So if you all could like, share, and comment on this. I am trying to get this page going. I can't seem to hit a rhythm with the group people to get them to hop over here. I'm going to have to do something to get them to come over here. I keep posting links and they don't seem to be getting it, catching on. So the other page that I thought when I was starting this one, I took that down today. So I couldn't get, there was 208 people on there. And when I did that one, I thought I was doing this, a page, but it ended up being a profile, which I can't use. So I had to take it down. But so I'm just going to pull this and knot this. So what we've just made is a head. So I'm really knotting this so it don't come apart. Okay. So we're just going to roll it to get all of that in there. So there we go. Set this aside. Let's work on the hat. We have to do these cheeks also. So we're going to start with the big piece. Now this is a packing box. So it's a really heavy duty cardboard. You don't need to use this heavy of a cardboard. Because it was so heavy, after I cut it, I rolled it. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate it. And the lady you said recommended me to do her bears contacted me today. So I wrote it so it would stay in a singular, I can't say it. We're taking this piece of cardboard and we're not putting it at the top or the bottom. We're putting it right in the middle. So we're going to start just gluing that in. And we're just going to glue it partially. We're taking this 2" by 7" piece. Okay, we're going to have to hold that for a second. And we're going to take this piece, this is 2 by 7, and we're going to glue it to the inside of one of those flaps halfway. Get a glue stick. So we're only putting glue down the long side on one side. And we're going to glue it to the inside of this hat, matching up the edges. And we're going to continue to glue this circle, not all the way to the end. We're just going a couple inches from the end, and I'll show you why in a moment. So what we're doing is the top of our hat is going to be open because we're going to decorate the top of this hat. We're putting Spanish moss in it. That's why we want this well in here. So see how we're doing that? We have a well in there. So we have less of a opening here than we do here because this is going to fit down over his head. Now this piece, extra piece we glued on, we're going to take this side and glue it. And the reason I'm doing it this way is because if I overlapped these two ends, you would have a lump in the back. Okay. So this way the two ends meet up and there's no lump, because if you overlapped one on the other, you would have a big bump there. Hold this and let this glue catch. There we go. So we're going on the inside and we're going to put glue all around this edge. And that's just going to help secure it. On both ends. Just going to help hold it together. Okay, so we have more of an opening here than we do here. This is more shallow because this is what we're going to decorate. So we're taking this and we're going to take our fabrics that we cut. Now we used the 6" and we cut the fabric. The dimension in here, which is 6 inches, we cut our fabric that. But we cut it a little bit wider here. A little bit, about 1/8 inch there. And we have 2 pieces. So we're going to just put some glue on the cardboard. And we're going to put this fabric on. Now I'm matching up the center because that won't be seen. Pressing it into that glue. Now you can use Mod Podge here, but because of church tonight, I don't have time to dry this. So we're just gluing it. Hi Diane, we're making a bunny head. So we're going to do the same on the other side. We're going to put the fabric on. And I'll show you what we're going to do with the overlap. So Diane, you'll have to go back at the beginning and see how I busted. We were using a ball for the head, and my glue gun's been on for a while, and the tip touched the ball and busted it. So I can only imagine the expression on my face when that happened. So this is a little bigger than I want, so I'm going to cut it and overlap it. So I don't edit my videos. I do them live, and if I make a mistake, y'all get to laugh with me. So this edge is wider than the cardboard. And if you're having a problem seeing, down in the left-hand corner, there's a little arrow type V, upside down V. If you press that, all the comments go away. I'm going to put some glue around this edge and press this, and that will cover up that cardboard edge so you won't see it. I'm just pressing them together. So on the 14th, I'm in an event. I put the schedule up. I got notification that the schedule is changing a little bit, but it's on the Kindred Creation page. So I'm going to put a link to that page. It's all day crafters. So my slot is 10 p.m. So you can, if you have nothing to do that day, you can watch videos all day long. There's some very talented women on there. So there we go. We got it covered. So we're going to take the material and cover the hat. Now I am matching up the bottom so I have an overlap on the top. So I'm going to glue the bottom, and then we'll go and glue the top of this. So if you could share the schedule of that post, it would be appreciated. Not only from the promoters, but from all the ladies that's going to be crafting that day. It's a small business. If we don't help each other, who's going to help us? So this cut edge, I'm just going to put some glue down it, fold it over so that's a finished seam on the back, and then glue it down. So then we're just going to glue this. And then I'm going to fold this out, put some glue in there, and then push it in. So it just has to be glued right at the top, because once we get everything else down inside of there, it's not going to be noticeable. So see, you have a little bit of overlap on the bottom, and that's okay, because once we get the Spanish moss in here, it's good. I'm just making sure that it's tight around the top here. We're going to put some glue around here, and we're going to glue it on that opening. This very tip needs glued to hold down. There we go. Okay, just making sure all these edges are glued. So I'm going to put glue right around this very edge. And then we're going to set the top hat right on the brim. So then, just like we did with the cardboard, I'm going on the outside and putting some more glue. And that's just extra secure to hold this, because this is going to be covered up too. So we've made a top hat. We're going to set this aside and let all this glue, isn't that cute? All this glue set up, and we're going to come back to this. So we're going to take this head, this is our face. Trying to get this glue off my fingers. So I have buttons for the eyes. I have a pink one for the nose. And I have these two big coat buttons for the eyes. Hi, how are you? Thank you for watching. So I'm taking jute, and we're using it for the eyelashes. So I just have some pieces here, and we're going to cut them. Maybe 1/8 to 1/4 inch. And I'm doing 3 for each eye. We're going to glue them right to the back of the eye on one side. We're only putting glue on one side, and we're going to stick these little pieces of jute right into that glue. 3 on each one. And I'm just using the tip of the glue gun to stick them down in that. So there. Now we can trim those if those are too long when we get done, but it's better to have them too long than too short. Because when these set up, we are going to untwist this jute. Now this jute has 3 plies to it, and make a nice eyelash. So it's just on the sides. Now I'm just going to try the hat to see how far it sits down on the head. Now that we stuffed this, we can squeeze this up in that head some more so it fits better. And I want it tilted just a little bit backwards. And I'm doing this to mark where I want the eyes. So we're just going to put some glue right on the back of the eyes, or the buttons. Now we want the eyelashes to the side. So we're putting them on like that. And I'm going to hold these here while I get a paint marker. I'm using a white paint marker to make highlights on the buttons. And press down on it to get the paint to the tip. And I'm just making 3 little dots. Just little dots. And then down the side, I'm just doing a line. And all this does is give a highlight. See that? Now before we put on the nose, we're going to take our 2 3-inch circles and we're going to gather them. Just do a running stitch. I think I'm going to have to re-thread this. And we're going to stuff these. So when I said you need a little bit of fiberfill, if you bust your ball like I did, you need a lot of fiberfill. But if you bought a small bag, you'd have more than enough. Or you can tear apart a pillow. Yeah, you can use grocery bags on this one too. Hi, Cindy. So we're taking our 3-inch circles and we're just doing a running stitch around. We are making a bunny head with a top hat. And we're using Warm and Natural. I was using a play ball, but the tip of the glue gun touched it and popped it. So we ended up stuffing it with fiberfill. I noticed on Monday's video, I had a clock hanging on the wall, and you all could hear that tick, tick, tick. So I pulled it off the wall before I went live today. So we're just going to pull these and put some fiberfill in them. Now I'm not pulling them really tight. I'm just making a little bit of a pocket there so I could shove this fiberfill in it. And I'm going to knot this off. So my hubby's out. He's fixing dinner. He's making fried chicken. He makes the best fried chicken. So we're just going to work this out to make a little pocket. We're taking just a tiny bit of fiberfill. and shoving inside of that just to hold it out, just to give it a little bit of fluff. And I'm making sure that the fiberfill goes over this little lip that we made. And we're going to glue this on. Now when I glue this on, I'm going to flatten it out also. So we're putting them, so when you push it down, we'll push this edge under. I'm just flattening them out a little bit, and I'm going to hold it just for a second so that would catch. And then we're going to do the other one. And then I'm going to show you what we're doing with these zippers. I'm thinking I only need one, but I got two out just in case. So I'm just pulling it just a little bit. I'm going to tie it off. And when I do something like this, I always do like 4 knots because I don't want this to come apart, you know. That would be awful to have it partially glued on and come apart too. So even when I'm doing my sewing, I always do 3-4 knots. Okay, let's take some fiberfill and put inside of this one. And let's glue it down. So we got 2 fat cheeks. So we're going to use a paint marker and give it eyebrows. I have a black one. Don't need that anymore. Okay, we'll put a little bit more glue on this side. So we're going to take one of our zippers, set that aside, and I'm cutting this fabric off. I'm cutting it right up to where the zipper is. Hi, Colette. Welcome. So I am cutting all this fabric off right up to the zipper, because this is the part you sew, and we're not sewing this. So we're cutting it all off. And we're doing that to both sides. Now these tabs on the bottom, we're cutting right below that. So this is what we've ended up with. And the pull is still on there. And we're going to leave that on there. Let's bring our bunny head over. Now the nose is going to go right above the 2 cheeks and right below the eyes. So this is going to be the part that comes down from the nose to the mouth. So I'm going to measure this. how long we want this. And I'm going to cut it. Now you can cut right across a zipper. Real easy. And we're going to glue this right down. We're going to take the pink button for the nose and put it right at the top. So the rest of this zipper, and this part has the pull on it. We're going to pull this apart. We're going to measure, this is our mouth. Just open it right up to how far we want it. Now we're doing a V. So how far do we want this? And we're leaving the pull on there. We're matching it right up to the bottom of the part that comes down. And we're just going to glue this into a V. And then we're going to trim the excess off. And we're leaving the pull on it. So that looks good. Now the pull is not going to come off because we're gluing it. We're taking a little bit of glue and putting right underneath of that pull. So it's up off the zipper part about 1/8 inch. Now that's going to hold it. We're putting a little bit of glue right at the bottom of the part that came down. And we're putting that part that came down right on top of that pull. And these two tails, we're just going to pull apart and glue them right up underneath the cheeks. And I'll show you what I'm doing here in a second. Now I'm gluing the zipper so that I can get this watch, I don't stick my fingers in that. It's going right up under the cheek. It twisted on me. There we go. And I'm using just a little bit of glue and I'm spreading it out with the tip. And I'm going to glue these two tips down that I left unglued for me to hold. This stylus that I bought has been the best thing. I use it for sewing and crafting. I have 2 of them. I'm taking a little bit of the pink paint. Just a little bit. And I'm just going to put it right on top of these cheeks. Just dabbing it. Not a whole lot, but just to give it some color. And we're taking the black paint pen and we're just going to give him some eyebrows. We have 2 pieces of wire. I'm going to shove them through the fabric. I'm going to cut these down some. Cut them in half. These are 7 inches long. So I'm just chopping them in half. I want to shove them into the fabric. These are our whiskers. And if you have to, you can make a tiny little slit. Maybe the stylus would work. Just to make a tiny little hole and push our in there. So we're going to glue the tip and shove it in that hole. Now I'm doing one that's going up and then one that's going down. And when this glue sets, we're going to curl these. Okay, so we're going to let that set up and then we're going to curl them. Let's set him aside and let's work on his ears. So I have 2 pieces of upholstery fabric and I've cut 4 pieces of the Warm and Natural. I don't know if I gave you the size of these. These are 16 inches long by 4.5. So we're taking a piece of wire, and this is 19 inches long. Now this is a really flexible wire. I'm not exactly sure what kind of wire this is, but it's real bendable. I found it in my hubby's shed, so I'm not sure what it was. And we're going to glue it right to the back of the ear. Right to the back side. And this will enable us to bend his ear once we put it on his head. Now I'm leaving about 2 inches at the bottom of the ear because we're going to pleat that. And then we're just going to glue from the tip down both sides. Put the 2 pieces together. Now, as I'm squirting this on, I'm also spreading it out with the tip of my gun. So you don't need a ton of glue on this. I'm going to do the other one. I actually think this is solder, not actually wire. But hey, it works, right? I go out there every once in a while and I start looking around, what can I use? And then I tell him I took it. So we're going to glue these 2 pieces together. I think I'm being spied on here. So we're almost done. bring her head back. So I'm going to take the ear, and each side I'm going to fold it to the center and give it a pleat. And I'm going to glue this together. See that? Now this open part, we didn't put the, and we'll open that back up because we have to put our liner in, right? So I'm going to lay that down, and this is just a piece of upholstery fabric. Lay it down and glue this in. I stuck my finger in that glue, and then I'm going to fold this back. That's the one nice thing about this Gorilla Glue, you have workable time. So see, I was able to open that and push it right back together. So there's our ear. Set him up, and I'm going to glue it not quite on the top. So this is where we gathered it, but down about 2 inches. Has a big floppy ear. And with that wire, we'll be able to bend it. So I'm going to set that on its side so it can I need to glue the inside of that too. Get all those layers glued. Tony, if you want to go, you can go. I'll come in a few minutes. So he's turning out really cute. If I could quit sticking my, every time, you think after all these years of crafting and using a glue gun, I would learn, but no. So we're taking this other piece of cardboard. Now this is a 8-inch circle. And we're going to glue this. Let me move him out of the way so you can see. Let that glue dry. And we're covering this with this other piece of upholstery fabric. Now this piece is not going to be seen because we are putting Spanish moss on top of it. Now I'm going to really glue this down because this is what the head is going to sit on. So I'm putting a lot of glue. And I'm just going to trim this. Tony. There's always a dinner before Bible study on Wednesday nights. Tony made fried chicken for it. Okay. Hi, Colette. So this is not the prettiest upholstery fabric, and I've almost thrown this away many times, but when you're not really going to see it, it's fine. So we're going to glue our bunny head right to the top of that. And get his ears out of the way. And this too, I'm putting a lot of glue on the bottom of him. And I'm going to hold him down and put some more glue up underneath of him. So what do you think so far? Okay. So now the ears, because they're wired, I'm going to like give them a ripple. We'll bend them a couple different places. Okay, make sure he's sitting right. No, he's lopsided. Let's put some more glue in the front. Make sure he's sitting straight. Now his hat could be on there crooked, but we don't want his head crooked. Tony. So while I'm holding this, I'm going to untwist his eyelashes. All that jute. I'm just going to untwist them and pull them apart. And I'm taking a, this is a quilting roller, but I'm going to use it to curl his whiskers. I'm just going to wrap that wire around and curl. You can use a dowel rod or a pencil or something like that. Drop my burlap. So we're going to take the hat and let's set him aside again, and we're going to decorate the hat. I stuck my finger in his cheek. I don't want to get pink paint on anything. So I have all kinds of stuff sitting here that we can use on him. So I have a piece of burlap that we're going to start with, and I'm just going to cut a piece off and pull some of these fibers out. Now these fibers that you pull out, you can use for whiskers, eyelashes. So I'm just pulling just so I have fringe all the way around it. Okay? And I'm going to glue it right to the front of the hat. That's the back. That's where the seam is. So I'm just going to glue it right to the front of the hat. And all we're doing is building up layers to make this look nice. Now we're going to fill the inside with Spanish moss. We're going to just take some and put it inside. We're going to squirt some glue down inside of it to hold it so it doesn't come out. Now I ordered lights from Amazon to put in the top of this, and they're not here. So you can put one of those small lights inside of here too. But you know, they say the best laid plans sometimes don't work. I have safety pins that I spray painted black and then put cinnamon over it. So I'm taking one of these and I'm going to shove it right into this burlap and close it. And all we're doing is we're just adding layers. Okay? So inside of this, I showed you at the beginning that I did some of these Easter eggs. They're just regular plastic Easter eggs. Did them in jute, and I did it one in butcher's twine that I dyed. So we're going to cut these skewers at different lengths and stick them in there. Now these skewers I did dye with grunge. Maybe we'll do one without. We'll put a little stick on him. And we're just going to glue these in. And where they touch the hat, I'm putting some glue. You don't really see the skewers, but I thought just in case I would color them with the grunge. Then we have the carrots. Now I just dipped these in grunge too and hung them to dry. Come on, this egg doesn't want to stand. Figuring out where I want these. I'm not sticking them all the way down in because you won't be able to see them. Hi, Mom. But I'm going to glue them up a little bit just so they're hanging out. We're making a bunny, and this is his top hat. So we're going to put some more Spanish moss in this. So you can put flowers. You can fill this whole inside with eggs. I mean, all the Easter stuff you can put in this. Now this isn't real Eastery. It's not the pastel colors, so this could be left out. So wouldn't it be really cute with a light in it? Our Hobby Lobby in February, we had a tornado and it was blown away. So they're in the process of building it. I would have stopped there today and grabbed the light. And Walmart don't carry those lights. So I took some wooden letters, spell out bunny. Every other letter, one's green, one's pink. And we're going to put it on the front of this hat. We're going to put some more stuff in there. Go ahead, Tony, go to church and I'll drive myself. So I'm just going to stagger the word bunny. So they're pink and green. And I'm layering the letters on top of each other, and I'll show you in a second. So I just spelled out bunny. See that? Down over top of that burlap. So let's take some more Spanish moss. I also have this little mouse. Now this was a Christmas decoration that I thought I would shove in here also. I wasn't sure how he would look. Let's put a let's put a tie on his neck. I think I'm going to use him. So I just have some ripped fabric. I'm going to make a bow tie on his neck. And I saw these at Walmart. Hi, Bonnie's. Bonnie's Hot Dish Crafts. Welcome. Hi, Michelle. So I'm just going to make a tie on his neck. I'll have to go follow you if I'm not following you yet. I thought these little mice were so cute, and they were Christmas decorations, and there's nothing really Christmas. Well, they had a little top hat on, like a Santa hat, which I pulled off. So let's stick him in here. Stick his tail out. His tail is wired, so I'm going to curl it. Let it hang out over the side. Yeah, I'm going to glue him in there. So I'm getting all kinds of animals. Now when those lights come, they probably will come tomorrow morning. You know how that works? Let's stick his tail up. But they were supposed to have been here yesterday. I'm going to take his hand and glue it on the outside of the hat to help stabilize him. But I thought these were so cute, these little mice. And I think there's 6 in a pack, and I got them like on clearance, after Christmas clearance, for like $2.50. So I couldn't pass that up. I mean, we could just use the top hat as a decoration all on its own. Let's bring our bunny back. And, well, we got to put something around the brim. So I have some lace. And we're going to tie it around the brim. I think I'm going to tie it on the side of the hat. Make sure I get it right. So when I had my craft store, I used to take photographs of everything. Well, there was no internet. My store closed in 2000, and the internet for this kind of thing was just becoming popular. So I took photographs of everything I made. And I came across this picture the other night, and I thought, oh, I'm going to make that because it's Easter and bunny, and I'm going to put some little bit of glue there to hold that knot down. Okay, so we're going to take it and glue it on his head. Let's get the front, whoops, let's twist that around a little more so it's really on the side. Now we're going to take his head and we're going to push it a little bit together so that the head goes up inside. And I'm just going to temporarily push his head up in there so I can see where I want it to go. Now, you all that joined me late, you'll have to go back and watch the beginning of this video because the inside of his head was supposed to be a child's ball. And I touched the tip of my glue gun, which has been on for hours, and it popped the ball. So we had to end up stuffing it. So I'm going to glue this head down a little bit more onto that bottom piece. So this needs turned. There we go. Get that the word bunny in the front. And because this is not a styrofoam ball in there or the play ball, I'm gonna have to add more glue to the underneath of the head on the base. And we'll hold that down to that catch. We use a zipper for the mouth and that little thing that comes down from the nose to the mouth. So while I'm holding this, I'll flip it around so you can see it. So he's quite big. Thanks, Bonnie. His ears are wired so we can fold them any way we want. I actually think that was solder that I took out of my husband's shed. Hey, it worked. It's holding the ear. Tony knows that nothing is sacred. If I need wire, I'm taking it. I think that was solder. So I made a little rag bow and it has a button on it. And I think I'm going to stick it right over top of that knot. Every time Tony sees me coming in the house from out in the back door, he says, "Now what did you take?" I'm always taking something. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Bonnie. So see what I did to my ball? I deflated it. Now those balls, I have something similar made with one of those balls, and it has to be 15, 20 years old. So the balls will hold up as long as you don't touch them. Oh, thanks, Mom. I'm glad you like it. It's okay that you're late. You can go back and watch the beginning. Watch how I pop my ball and the expression on my face. I'm sure it's funny. So I'm going to take a little bit of Spanish moss and put down on the bottom. But he needs a tie. We haven't glued the hat on yet either. He needs a necktie. So I'm going to take some fabric and wrap it around his neck because he needs a tie on his neck. And he's sitting crooked. Let's get some more glue underneath of him. I'm not sure how I ever crafted before a glue gun was invented. Because I think I've been crafting since I took my very first breath. I have a little doll that I handmade, hand sewn, made her dress. I think it's out of a t-shirt. Her face was put on with a pencil. So I think I've been crafting, sewing, making stuff since I was born. I learned to sew when I was in 7th grade home ec. They don't even teach home ec anymore, which I think is a shame. My teacher and I did not get along. For some reason, we didn't like each other, but I did learn a lot from her. And I did tell her that one time. My son had broke his wrist we were in the doctor's office, and she was sitting there because she had a broken leg. So we got to talking. What do you think? I love that mouse. I'm glad I put him on my table to use. I'm just going to curl his tail a little bit more so it sticks up. But I love that. And he's big. And I am going to stick the light in it whenever Amazon decides to bring them to me. Normally, if I order real early in the morning, sometimes I get it the same day. It was supposed to come yesterday, but here we are today. It's still not here. But we did have a torrential storm yesterday, so that could have been the reason they're delayed. I hope you like it. God bless. We got to glue the hat on, don't we? I just felt it move. So I'm going to squirt some glue up underneath. So a little bit of Warm and Natural, some fiberfill, buttons, cardboard, because that's what his hat's made out of. Some wire. And there you go. God bless. Have a great night, everybody. Let me know if you make this. Please send me pictures if you make something, even if it isn't anything that we've made on any of our pages or in the group. Send me a picture. I don't care if it's crochet. Thanks. I don't care if it's crochet. I don't care if it's stained glass or if you paint. I'd love to be able to paint. I cannot paint. But send me a picture of what you're making. Stephanie, you do t-shirts. We can post a picture of one of your t-shirts, one of your creations. So God bless everybody. Have a great night. And join me on Friday. And then on the 14th, I'm in a group. And there's a listing there. And I will repost that so that you can watch. And you can go join the Kindred group. So you can watch videos all day long. I think they start at 8 a.m. and I'm at 10 p.m. I'm the last one. So there you go. God bless. Have a great night.